Hey everybody, welcome back to Critic Quest and another Netflix review, this time of Netflix's Polar, the original movie that I thought was going to be so good, and ultimately made me look like a dumbass in front of my friend. So everyone knows, I actually made a review of Polar last night with my friend Mike. Unfortunately, we had some equipment issues called the video didn't record. It was very disappointing. It was such a good review. It explained in detail all our feelings, and at that moment, it was just right on. But I'll try to do my best to recreate it for you now. So Polar is a Netflix original. It stars Vanessa Hudgens, Mads Mikkelsen. It even has Johnny Knoxville and Richard Dreyfuss, but don't expect much. They just lined up for a paycheck and a cameo to put in the trailer to make this movie look like it had a stellar cast. But it doesn't. I kept calling Mads Mikkelsen Miles because he was totally forgettable. A complete waste of space. And I'm not saying Vanessa Hudgens is a great actress or anything, but she lays waste to everyone in this movie, which isn't saying much. First though, let's talk about this movie's plot. Of course, it's what everyone across YouTube thought. A John Wick wannabe mixed with Kill Bill in the worst way possible. The story consists of a retired ex-hitman that puts in for an $8 million pension, only to have his ex-boss that I kept calling Bleach Blonde Dan Aykroyd, only to now realize that would be a complete disservice to Aykroyd. And like Wick, it even has a cute little cuddly dog, which was a total throwaway, just to try to show you, the viewer, no, this is not John Wick. Even though we know that's what you're going for, this is what you're trying to do. This movie was awful. It felt as if it was two separate movies that were made completely on their own until some studio exec sitting up in his little office in his little room was like, put these together and make something happen. Which brings me to the pacing of this movie. On one hand, you have the assassin side, which is colorful, fast-paced, and edited to shit, with these quick cuts from one scene to the next with all those little screens and titles like Miami, New York, cutting from one poorly constructed and acted scene to the next, with weird, disturbing shots of a blonde Aykroyd, or whatever his name is, rubbing oil all over himself and playing with his nipples. Then cutting straight to an artistic scene with an owl flying away, where on the flip side we have Mads Mikkelsen and Hudgens in what seems to be a world void of color, which I know this is based on a graphic novel that uses only orange, black, and white, and is known for being void of color. But I would have taken orange, black, and white any day. Here it's just drab, depressing, and dreary. It snows all the time and everything's shot in grays and subtle blue tones. Not the oranges and the blacks. Why couldn't they just have some kind of, sunset or something that would have fit right into the novel and opened up this lifeless world? But I will say, on this side of the story, I did feel like the cinematography was more solid, but it's not enough to save these dull characters. Mikkelsen has little to no dialogue, and for the most part, he's a lifeless, stoic statue of a character that I felt nothing for. And they never go into his history or why he's such a badass or why he seems to be so feared. Then there's the assassins who, which to me, and Mike both, we said last night that we thought they were all dead right from the beginning. So when a few of them come back, it confused us all to hell. Then we realized they had been there all along, but these characters were just so unimportant and unvital to the plot of this movie that we had already forgotten them. And so does Mikkelsen, apparently. It just doesn't make any sense. If all these assassins work for the same company he works for, and they all know each other, doesn't he know them back? For example, in one cliche scene, Mikkelsen is tricked into picking up one of these assassins from the side of the road just because she's bending over. Just more mind-boggling, misogynistic, SJW, men are naive, and powerless crap. And writing 101, people. And the bad guys are so easy to kill. These are supposed to be comparable assassins, but they fall one by one with no effort involved. I think the guards put up a better fight. I just don't get how this could have happened. Netflix again proves to me time and time again that they have trouble making solid original movies. Bird Box, Annihilation, and now Polar. They all just feel like other studios abandoned leftover garbage with well-known actors that can be used to market the movies. And don't get me wrong, Bird Box and Annihilation are Oscar winners compared to this one. I mean, this is a John Wick knockoff from the studio that brings us the Punisher series. And if you have not seen the Punisher, you should. Then you'll understand what I'm talking about here. Season 2, I'm on episode 2 now, And in the first episode, there's this awesome fight scene in a bar. And that is what this movie should have been all the way through. And yes, it does have faint glimmers of that here and there, with some gruesome, bloody action scenes, which I actually need to stop here and say the use of CGI blood effects. It just looked lousy, which made it look like paint on the wall. It didn't make any sense for the fact that this movie, for the most part, uses traditional, practical effects. But when it comes to the blood, like I said, it just looks like paint. It has times, like the fight sequence when Mads throws out the fire extinguisher and goes hand to hand with some security guards, or when he uses a laser to blow away 20 to 30 goons, but it fails to maintain this level of excitement throughout the movie. And we all saw of this in the trailer, which is something else. Again, just like Io, I was duped by this trailer. I was genuinely excited for this movie. Passing on this week's theatrical releases like Matthew McConaughey's Serenity and The Kid That Would Be King, which I may actually go see tonight. It was so disappointing. Okay, so I need to try to wrap this up. I'm already blocking this movie from my memory as we speak, but before I finish my review, I want to talk about something. I want to start putting in all my reviews, and it's what I think could bridge the gap between the audience and critics I notice every week on Rotten Tomatoes and YouTube. We seem to have difference of opinion, a big difference. I think this is because, as critics, I feel at this point I've made probably 50 reviews. I somewhat consider myself a critic now. But as a critic, we analyze everything: the plot, cinematography, acting, directing, music. If you think of it, we overanalyze it. So from now on, I want to add a segment in my review that goes over the hidden, less known, and talked about, but yet very important factor. And that's the entertainment factor, or value. The factor you as an audience looks at and judges. We all have seen it. We've all been there. Some shit movies out there that for some reason, they're just good. We call them guilty pleasures. One of mine is Elysium. I'll admit it, the movie isn't good. It entertains the crap out of me though. And at the same time, we've all seen well-constructed, brilliantly acted movies that are just boring as fuck. Polar has no entertainment factor or value. It's convoluted, poorly edited, acted, written, directed. It's dull, boring, tiresome, and at times I consider just turning it off. If for not this review, I probably would have. It was a really hard one to stick with. I really had thought Netflix had hit a new low with Io, but yeah, this one takes the cake. I'll give Polar an F. Anyways, thanks so much everyone for stopping by and checking out my review for Polar. I'm sorry it was a little late. Like I said, we had some equipment issues, but if you like this review, you know what to do. Like, comment, and subscribe to join the quest.